What if a profound personal breakthrough wasn't just something you hoped for? What if it was something you could actually engineer? Well, today, we're pulling back the curtain on a wellness retreat that claims to do exactly that. We're going to deconstruct the Hekau method, piece by piece, to really understand its blueprint for transformation.
So it all starts here. You see this image, right? It looks like a woman peacefully meditating, headphones on, totally serene. But what you're actually looking at isn't just relaxation. It's the very beginning of a meticulously designed emotional journey.
The promise they make to their guests is so beautifully simple. Come here and you'll leave renewed, reborn, more resilient. But behind that simple promise, that's where you find a complex, multi-layered system that mashes up ancient ideas with almost clinical precision. And that, right there, is the million-dollar question we're tackling. How on earth do you engineer a personal transformation? Let's dive in and break down the system they've built to try and do just that. Okay, first, let's look at this whole thing from the guest's point of view. The entire experience is packaged up as this luxury, transformative staycation. It's a really appealing escape from your everyday life. I mean, the setting is just idyllic. We're talking about a beautiful villa tucked away in the Hajar Mountains, and the experience itself is designed to blend that rugged outdoor adventure with some really deep, introspective work. It's a seriously powerful combination. The itinerary looks incredible, right? 3 days of scenic hikes, cooking together, stargazing. But then you get to that last bullet point, deep inner work sessions. Okay, what does that actually mean? This is where we start peeling back the layers. So let's get into the core philosophy. The Hekau method is basically built on 3 pillars, and each one has a really specific name and purpose that's drawn from ancient Egyptian concepts. This is like the secret language of the whole system. The first element is called Akhet, and it basically translates to primal shock. The whole idea here is to use intense cold, like an ice plunge or ice-cold towels, to just jolt your nervous system. Think of it like a hard reset. It's inspired by the Nile's annual flood, which was seen as this destructive but ultimately totally renewing event. And this captures the 2 sides of this retreat perfectly. On one hand, you have this peaceful, restorative, almost spa-like environment. And on the other, you have this intense, hands-on, therapeutic shock. It's the fusion of those 2 extremes that really defines the whole method. Next up is Hekau, which is where the retreat gets its name. It means vibrational sound, and this is a super deep, immersive breathwork journey that uses a really layered soundscape delivered right through your headphones to guide the entire experience. The music here is absolutely not just background noise, it is the main tool they use to release stored emotion. And finally, you have Sekhem, which means power. So after all the intensity of the breathwork journey, this is the integration phase. The facilitator uses tuning forks on specific points of the body to ground all that energy, kind of retune the nervous system, and help you integrate that big emotional release. Now, this is where things get really interesting. What underpins all of this spiritual and emotional work? It's actually a super rigid framework of professional safety protocols. In their own handbook, they call it a healthcare meets hospitality foundation. Okay, get a load of this. This table is pulled directly from the facilitator's training manual. It lays out these non-negotiable red flag rules for blood pressure before anyone can even think about doing the octa-shock therapy. If your reading is in stage 1 or 2, you're automatically guided to a safer alternative. This isn't loosey-goosey, it's clinical. And that clinical approach is backed up by some serious credentials. The facilitator running this isn't just some spiritual guide. They are accredited by multiple international bodies, covering everything from holistic medicine to global healthcare. This mix of professional standards and holistic practice is totally central to how this whole thing is designed. So the big point here is that there is a massive safety net built into the entire experience. From the moment you show up, there are private vital checks, you're filling out detailed medical and consent forms, even declaring really specific allergies to the oils they use in the sessions. Trust isn't just assumed here, it is actively built through these transparent and rigorous procedures. Okay, so we've seen what the guest sees, and we've seen the safety framework underneath it all. Now, let's get to the real heart of the system, what they call the somatic arc. Somatic just means relating to the body, and this arc is all about how they use sound to engineer a physical and emotional release. You see, the entire Hekau breathwork session is mapped out to a very precise musical playlist. It is not random at all. It starts with priming to get you into a receptive state. that it builds tension for over 40 minutes with these intense primal drums. The whole arc is designed to lead you through catharsis and rebirth, and it ends with a few minutes of total silence for integration. And they are very, very clear about the goal of this musical arc. This quote from one of the session recordings says it all. If tears come, let them flow. This is not sadness, this is release. The emotional outpouring isn't a side effect, it is the intended, engineered outcome.
So, how do they trigger it? How do they create that moment of catharsis with such predictability? Well, it comes down to a single technical audio setting, 12 seconds. And this is the secret sauce. The facilitator's manual specifies a non-negotiable 12-second crossfade in the audio settings. This creates what they call the drop. So after 40 minutes of building all this intense, rhythmic tension, the sound suddenly dissolves into this incredibly emotional, cinematic music. That abrupt shift is literally engineered to shatter the emotional dam. It's pure psychological engineering done with sound.
But you're not just left floating in that intense auditory journey. The experience isn't over. The Sekhem phase kicks in. Using a precise touch map from the handbook, the facilitator applies tuning forks to specific points on your body, helping to physically integrate the experience and ground you back in your body. So when we zoom out and we look at all of these components together, the luxury setting, the ancient philosophy, the clinical safety, the audio engineering, what does it all actually mean? Well, the Hekau method really seems to point to a potential new blueprint in the wellness industry. It's a move away from just hoping for some spontaneous moment of insight, and a move towards a model of engineered transformation. It's a hybrid system that packages ancient wisdom inside a replicable, professional, almost clinical process. And all of this leaves us with a really provocative final question to chew on. When a personal breakthrough can be so meticulously engineered, down to the second, what does that mean for the nature of an authentic experience? It's definitely something to think about.